Cup on Tequila Aficionado Media on all of our channels and network. Mike Morales here in Southern California. That gentleman out there is
Eric Zandona in Vancouver, Washington.
Eric and I have the distinct pleasure. We're gonna dissect something brand new on the market called Mijenta, which I think what they were going for when they did this, it was kind of a play on words for mi gente, my people.
Right, my
These are
people.
my people. And it's an interesting story. I guess the gentleman involved is we didn't get a whole lot of information sent to us. All we get is the information on the website.
Yeah.
But the master distiller, the Maestra Tequilera of this brand, is brand new at $14.99. That's our nom number. That is the same nom number as Corrido, and if that sounds familiar, it's because Ana Maria Romero Mena is again responsible for this brand of Mijenta. Last year, we voted her, we nominated her, and gave her the Master Distiller of the Year. She was involved with Volcán de mi Tierra, the relaunch of Corrido, the General Gorostieta. I know it's a mouthful, but that's coming to the United States. It's coming into California shortly. And they were nice enough to send it to us. And then this one got this year. And I think what we're going to do first, we're going to taste it first, then tell you all the ins and outs because it's Ana Maria Romero Mena. I'm excited to taste it. I love this cork. I love those little glass corks because there's very little dissipation. I'm going to use my Stazzo Jarrito. Eric's using his handy dandy Glencairn. And then we'll show you the packaging and the ins and outs. And I got a big whiff of that agave, that cooked agave.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely there. It's not super strong, but it's definitely there, and it's like almost verging on like cooked yam or sweet potato.
Oh, that's exactly what it's supposed to smell like.
Exactly. Yeah. But there's also some nice like tropical fruit. There's a little bit of like ripe pineapple. And
that's so nice. That is so nice. Oh. Oh my God.
Yeah.
At first when I just popped the cork on this one, the seal, just before we came on camera, and as I that first whiff is just cooked agave, not baked.
Yeah.
It's cooked. And then it's just bright. It's all you got tropical fruit. I'm getting more of the lime and lemon zest, the stuff that we're familiar with, with Highlands tequila.
Yeah. To me, it's definitely like ripe pineapple, a little bit of black pepper. But that could go, that combo could go either way because it could also be like key lime or,
okay. Yeah.
Depending on how you kind of approach it.
Let's just say it's Persian lime, shall we?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's just really lovely. Good. What a lovely nose, though.
Yeah. I'm ready to try it.
You're ready? Let's go. Oh.
Yeah.
By the way, we didn't show you the legs and tears. I'm not even where you're listening to us on the podcast. You probably can't see them, but very pretty, very nice. Actually, there's a lot of full body on this thing. There's a good mouthfeel to it.
It does. Yeah. It's interesting. The flavor is really, I would say the intensity of the flavor is fairly mild, but it's really nice. It's really lovely. It's got this like more elegant kind of approach to it than I would say, as opposed to kind of a more rustic.
Well, like Rajon. Remember how Rajon was right in your face.
Yeah.
This one is refined. It really is refined.
Yeah.
Wow. And what I noticed too is I took a second sip here. I noticed that the nose and the flavor are very very consistent.
Yeah.
It's almost like you're drinking what you were smelling, which
Yeah.
doesn't always happen. Sometimes the nose belies the intake,
Right.
or the other way around.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, no, there's definitely some like I would say like sweeter lime flavor, a little bit of pepperiness, some definite like sweet richness that's from like the cooked agave.
Hmm.
Not quite vanilla, but like verging. But that's like not because of wood, but because of that cooked agave, that sweetness. So
Yeah,
it's really nice.
this is a it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Honestly, I know you probably will, because 80% of these blancos are they're people drink them in hot cocktails, but
Mhm.
this is really a great sipping tequila.
Yeah.
Uh, I wouldn't. There are ones that I've had just recently, as a matter of fact, and a couple of my other tastings this week. But I wouldn't even put this. I wouldn't put this over ice, or like a a tequila and soda, because it's so pretty. It's so
Yeah.
nice.
Hmm.
But I mean, you could. You probably.
Yeah,
I,
you could. I know, like, at least in Texas, like ranch water is like all the rage, right?
hmm hmm
So, you could do that, sort of like minimal just impact. Uh, but
Well,
yeah, that's really, really nice. I think for some people, they wouldn't mind a little bit. There's a little bit of sharpness from the alcohol that I think some people might want to add a little bit something to cut, but it's really, really lovely.
well, if that's the case too, then obviously it'll stand up to a cocktail. But
Yeah,
I think it would stand up to some of the more traditional cocktails, like a Paloma, like a margarita,
yeah,
and just a plain margarita, nothing like strawberry or
yeah,
anything weird. Um, but I held it in my mouth, and it was so consistent from
mm-hmm.
what we were smelling. It's
Yeah,
just gorgeous. I don't know why I should be shocked, but it's Ana Maria.
right.
Ana Maria Romero Mena. If you're not familiar with her, again, I mentioned some of the brands she's involved with. It's Corrido, the relaunch. Um, Volcán de mi Tierra has made a big splash there. General Gorostieta is going to make a big splash. That one won in several categories, and it's only one expression. It's a Joven, and you know how tough it is to make a tequila Joven. She did it, and she did it. No, and it's interesting how she uses different distilleries. Like Volcán de mi Tierra has her own distillery. This 1499, I think, is what was the name of this one again? Uh,
Tequila de Arandas.
Tequila de Arandas, which is
Yeah,
a different one. That's where Corrido comes out
yeah,
of,
yeah.
and a few others. And then General Gorostieta comes out of Gnome 1414.
You're right.
So now, what do we know about Mijenta as far as the processing? I think you mentioned that.
Yeah, so from what they're saying is they're cooking the agaves in an autoclave, but at low pressure. So there's a number of people who do that, right? Either at zero pressure or very low,
Right.
right? So it's sort of like mimicking a brick oven, but it's an autoclave.
Yeah.
So there's that, and then fermented in stainless steel, which is standard. And but they one of the things they mention is that they play classical music while the yeast is fermenting.
See, and that's I call that the Mozart method, and I will come
Yeah,
out with the book. I have the definitive book. I've been working on it for
yeah,
probably 5 years, and anyway.
yeah,
Those of you who know me know that we love them 1414 because that's their stamp. That's their master distiller who created that method.
yeah.
Is a dual. It's a partnership of a couple of gentlemen, and one of them I actually have met both of them.
Hmm.
It's one of them is like I spent an afternoon with him. You may as well be spending an afternoon with Gandhi, because it was. I'm telling you, Eric, this Leopoldo Solis.
Hmm.
is amazing, and I have communicated with Ana Maria for years, but I've never met her personally, and we almost did once in Texas. She was about to make a trip to San Antonio, and that fell through because she had a death in the family.
Mm.
So, but she is also responsible for, you may have seen this. If you follow her, please follow her on Instagram. You can follow her on
Yeah.
Instagram. Mijenta does a great job on their Instagram as well, their social media. She's responsible for this kit, and it's called, I don't know if you can even see that. It's called
Yeah.
Los Aromas de Tequila.
Hmm.
This kit is she sent this to us. She donated it to us because we've been friends forever, and it's
Yeah.
got her name on the back. This is the first iteration. I believe that
Yeah.
there are now updated versions. And what she did was, inside, these are vials
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
of all the aromas and flavors that she has identified. She is also responsible for the actual aroma wheel that was developed for tequila. Because Eric will tell you,
Yeah.
there's a lot of wheels out there that are
Yeah.
adapted from bourbon and whiskey and cigars
Right.
and chocolate, and this is the definitive one. This is it right here. So each of these vials, if you they're oils, and they're still there. They're still. I've had this. I think I've had this kit for about 5 years. It's interesting. This kit made its appearance in a soap opera. Um, it did. It was funny because oh, it smells good too. It made its appearance in a soap opera called Destilando Amor. You may not know, Eric. You may have heard of it. We covered it at Tequila Aficionado. You could if you look at the search engine, you'll find it. Somebody reached out to me and goes, "Hey, I'm watching Destilando Amor. Is that kit real?" And when it came out, when it premiered, I said, "No, that's a prop. That doesn't exist." And lo and behold, it exists, and it's Ana Maria's creation.
Uh-huh.
You can have these. I believe you can still purchase these from her directly, but you're going to have to contact her because I have no clue. Um, but I will tell you, it's worth every penny. Every library should have this,
Yeah.
and if possible, take her class. She only does these classes in Jalisco, but she's been involved in brands forever. So that was really nice that she sent that to us, and it still works, Anna. so, um, so Eric, are you going to agree with me? Is this a Brand of Promise nominee in that Blanco category?
Yeah, so I would say definitely both in Blanco and for packaging. So
Okay, I
I mean
agree.
we've held up the bottles and the boxes. I think Mijenta did an excellent job. It's really like simple design, but really lovely. Nice little effects with the line drawing and the gold relief of the rabbit.
This rabbit, and I haven't done it yet, but this rabbit, it's of course part of the lore
Right.
and from the 400 conejos, the 400 rabbits,
Yeah.
and it's interesting because this rabbit reminds me of an origami rabbit. For
Hmm.
those of you who have been stuck on an airplane and with nothing to read except for the in-flight magazine, you may have seen there's a guy who does origami using money, and I have seen this rabbit as a dollar bill, and I
Oh.
and I actually I have it. I haven't had a chance to do the origami because I used to do it as a kid, and I'm going to do it, and I'm going to post that picture of the rabbit because it does. It looks like you may have seen it on a commercial too, probably, but um, yeah, this was just lovely, man.
Yeah,
This was
this is a stock, a fairly standard bottle, but
yeah.
the label, the box just makes it really like stand out. So really nice packaging.
By the way, they are doing a lot with their environment. The owner, and I don't have his name offhand, and I'm sorry, but I will get that name for you probably when we do the repo. It says Altos Planos Collective. That's the name of the company. Apparently, is deeply concerned about the environmental footprint Our product has been made with love and care for our planet. I believe that this is probably, that's why it's so thin. I think it's recycled paper. It could be even recycled agave fiber.
Yeah.
But it's a 100% agave, 100% agave, and it is also um, yeah, it's 80 proof. That's what I was going to get to.
Yeah.
It's 80 proof, 40 ABV. Very well worth getting. I can't wait to try this reposado. So that's our take on Mijenta. Mijenta Blanco, Tequila Blanco, again from Ana Maria. Beautiful Brand of Promise nominee in packaging and in Blanco, of course. But stick with us because we'll have the reposado handy for you in just a few minutes. My name is Mike Morales. You have been watching and listening to Sipping Off the Cuff on Tequila Aficionado Media, all of our networks and channels. If you're watching us on YouTube, subscribe, hit the notification bell, give us a like. That way, every time we upload a video with Eric in it, you get notified. You get it right on your phone. If you're listening to us on the podcast, please download it on Spotify, iTunes, anywhere you get your podcasts. And whatever you do, tomar sabiamente.
Sip wisely.